It's Cyhawk week. It's a great week in wrestling. It's the first big duel of the year. Iowa taking on Iowa State at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Going to be an electric atmosphere. You're going to want to, if you can go, go. If you can watch, definitely going to want to watch online, but you are not going to want to miss this duel going down on Saturday. I'm going to give you a preview. I'm going to give you my opinion, how I think it's going to go. I'll start with this. Looking at this on paper, and then I punched it into WrestleStat, which is a great wrestling resource for you guys. You should check it out. And they do this little, like, I don't know, they have some little algorithm that spits out their predictions. And they have this as a 26-6 win for Iowa over Iowa State. They only gave Iowa State 2 wins, 141 and 285. Now, on the one hand, I do think it is it could be a long night for Iowa State. On the other hand, I think there is a path. It's a difficult path. It's a path full with maybe upsets, but it's a reasonable path to victory. And I'm gonna get into all the different scenarios. Going to go weight by weight and give you my thoughts on who I think's likely to win. Starting at 125, where I think we will see Iowa State use Kyson Terrakina. We've seen a lot of him over the years, in and out of the lineup. He's had some issues, but there's one thing that's not without question. This is a guy with tremendous ability. He's won some big matches. He's beaten All-Americans in the past. And he's going to be taking on Cale Peterson, I believe, from Iowa. This is a weight that's kind of in flux maybe a little bit for both teams, but my prediction is that it's Kyson taking on Cale Peterson. My prediction is that Kyson Terrakina would win this match. I think he is the favorite. He's far more proven. Now, Cale is a total unknown. He's wrestled, I think, one match at 125. His results at other weights were not very good. But now, when you're in the lineup, that changes things. And he could be a little bit better than maybe his results say. I think that's probably realistic. And so on paper, actually, I think Kyson is a huge favorite. But I think in reality, Kyson is someone with a lot of variance in his performance. And I really think Cale has a reasonable shot to win this match. Now, this would be I don't want to say a death blow right out the gate, but it would hurt if Kyson were to lose this match. They need this one. Moving up to 133, I think coming into this year, you would have thought Drake Ayala a pretty, not significant, but a favorite over Evan Frost. And now seeing Drake, lose to Tyler Knox, to get turned by Tyler Knox when Evan Frost of Iowa State is known for his ability to turn from the top position, that's concerning, right? Is Drake at the right weight? We don't know for sure yet. He looked solid against Oregon State, and then, he drops the match to Stanford against probably the best competition he's faced this year. Now, I think the matchup, I like Drake because I think he matches up well from neutral. But the optics around how this is how their seasons have gone, you want to maybe pick Frost, but then you got to remember Frost was out. His weight got out of control. According to Coach Dresser, it got out of control. So it's not like Evan Frost has set the world on fire so far this year. He was great last year. Well, so was Drake. Drake was in the dang NCAA finals at 125. So I think a little bit, there could be a little bit of an overreaction to the Tyler Knox loss from Drake in this situation. I've got Drake winning this match. I think most people will probably pick Frost. I understand that. But I'm picking Drake. Just a little more big match experience, and I think he's going to be well prepared for this one. But I don't feel great about it, and I don't feel great about 141, which is Zach Redding. I think with Swiderski out for the year for Iowa State, I think it'll be Redding. They've been using Redding, taking on Ryder Block. Both guys are not off to great starts this year. But, this is really Ryder Block's first year in college wrestling. He was out last year with an injury, so there's a learning curve there. Redding's been around forever, right? And he's had some big wins. He's beaten some All-Americans and some highly ranked guys in his career. But is 41 the weight for him? I'm not as sure. I feel like he's probably best suited at 133, but Evan Frost is there, so what are you going to do? I think on paper, this is Redding's the favorite. He's my pick. Not a ton of confidence there, but he's just more proven at this point. So I've got Redding getting his hand raised at 141. Then we go to 149, maybe one of the marquee matches of the entire event, where we're going to have Anthony Etchemandia taking on Kyle Parko. Kyle Parko has looked sensational so far. Underhooks on point, really strong, good positionally, great from the top position, good motor. He's checking all the boxes. Anthony Echemendia, still a bit of an unknown commodity at 149. My pick here is Kyle Parko. I think Parko is gonna win this one. It's close, and if Echemendia can use his strength and power and get to his body lock stuff, there's no denying he can win this match. But my pick is Parko here. I think he's gonna, I just think he's a little bit better, a little more proven, and maybe a little bit bigger. And a few little things can turn into big things, and that's why I've got Parko. Going to 157, Pinheiro Johnson, Iowa State taking on Ja'Cory Teamer. Ja'Cory looks really good, guys. He hasn't wrestled like an All-American yet this year. He hasn't faced an All-American, I mean. But he's done his job in the matches he's wrestled in. Pinheiro's been out, had I think an injury default out of a tournament last week. So, and let's be honest, Pinheiro was an underdog anyways. I've got a decision here for Ja'Cory Teamer. There's no denying that Pinheiro is going to be hard to score on, and I don't expect Ja'Cory to blow through him. But I think he's either going to get a situational takedown off a counter. He could generate from his own stuff. He could ride. But I think ultimately we see Ja'Cory Teamer bigger, more accomplished, a little more ways to score. I think he gets it done here for the Hawks. For 65, this is maybe one of the most lopsided matchups where we're going to see Michael Caliendo of Iowa taking on either MJ Gaitan or Connor Uten. I think it's going to be Uten. Uten's been, I think he's established himself as the starter at 65. But one thing to always remember with Iowa State duels and Coach Kevin Dresser, he will throw curveballs out there. He will mix it up and make a change and try to. He's not thinking long, like the long term. He's like, how can I win this duel? Who can I use to help win this duel meet? So if they think, hey, Gaitan's a better matchup against Caliendo, they'll use Gaitan. But I expect it to be Uten here. It's for the simple fact that I think he's a little harder to score on than MJ. MJ maybe has a little more point scoring ability, but Uten, super solid. Caliendo's a great point scorer. We saw him that in full against Hunter Garvin of Stanford. And I expect, approaching double-digit points in this match as well. Then we go to 74. This may be the popcorn break, the Carver Cone break match. Aiden Riggins taking on Nelson Brands. These two are former teammates. I expect a controlled win for Nelson Brands here. I think Riggins is just going to have. I just don't see a scenario where Riggins can get a takedown against Nelson. Nelson's defense is just too good. And Nelson needs to get this one back. Of course, Riggins was on Iowa last year. Now he's going to wrestle in the Cyhawk duel. He's beaten Noctaborn for the spot. But I think this is Nelson's match to win, no doubt about it. Then 84, this may be, man, I'm really excited for this one. Because Evan Bachman from Iowa State is good. He's been under the radar because he was at Utah Valley, and now he transferred to Iowa State. He's down at 184. He's looked really strong. Nice high crotch, really pretty good athlete. He can get the legs quickly. Very complete wrestler. And then there's Gabe Arnold, who is, you watch some of his takedowns, you just kind of marvel at the slickness and the speed and the power combination. And, on the heels of the Bellarmine 5-3 win for Gabe, you're a little bit like, well, that's a little odd. But he's also been dominant in matches as well. I think Arnold's a favorite here, but I think this is a match that Iowa State's probably going to need. They may need. I'll get into the path for Iowa State after I finish the weight-by-weight preview, but this is one to maybe highlight as a potential upset avenue for Iowa State. Bachman's really solid. He's not going to wear out, and I think Gabe Arnold maybe, if he gets a slow start and Bachman gets his motor running, it could be a tough match, but I've got Gabe winning this one. Then we go to 197, Christian Carroll versus Stephen Buchanan. And look, I'll be the first to say, I've been super impressed with Christian Carroll so far this year. But he's going to hit a different level of competitor when he wrestles Stephen Buchanan. Buchanan is his ability to shut guys down defensively, to score situationally on the edge, wrestle out of really every position he can ride. I think this is the most complete wrestler that Carroll's faced this year by a long shot. I think Iowa State fans may talk themselves into this being closer than a toss-up or upset potential match. That's not how I see it. I see Stephen Buchanan as a pretty daunting favorite here, and I fully expect him to win and win in a pretty controlled fashion. And then we go to heavyweight, and I kind of went back and forth on this one because on paper, I think Younger Bastida is not just a favorite, a significant one. But we haven't seen him, and we've seen Ben Keeter. He's looked solid. We know his pedigree, and the one advantage for Ben is his athleticism, his speed, his ability to just kind of wow you with how well he can move for a big guy. Does that get negated a little bit against Younger Bastida, who is kind of all of that and plus a little bit bigger? That's why I think Younger's the favorite. He has beaten some really great wrestlers. I mean, he was undefeated going into NCAAs last year, right? He's beaten Wyatt Hendrickson. He's beat Lucas Davison. I mean, really, dude's really good. He's been out, though. And so, does him being maybe not quite 100, does that make this upset possible? I really think it does. I think this is one, if you're looking for a Carver moment, I think it could be Ben Keeter. But as you know, this is I just predicted a pretty lopsided win for Iowa. But here, for Iowa State fans, here's the path as I see it. If Iowa State's going to win this match, they got to win the first four. Terrakina's got to beat Peterson. Frost has to beat Ayala. Redding has to beat Block, who he's more experienced, has better wins than. And Echmandia's got to pull a small, slight upset over Parker. They need those four, plus heavyweight. That gets them to 5. And then it could come down to bonus points. Do they get a bonus point somewhere along the way? If not, if Iowa State is losing in the bonus category, which is very possible considering Caliendo and considering Buchanan, I think Iowa is in a better position to score bonus points in this duel than Iowa State. So then, if they're in a better position to score more bonus, then that means Iowa State needs 6. What's the 6th? I think probably the most likely next win for Iowa State is probably at 84 Bachman over Arnold. That's kind of how I see it. That's a long shot, but it's a shot. They're not out of it. This duel is crazy. There have been duels where, Iowa's been a bigger favorite, and Iowa State's been there. And last year was Iowa State's best shot, I feel, in some years to knock off Iowa, and they weren't quite able to do it. I don't think they're probably going to do it here, but you always can expect insanity. I remember I don't even remember the year. I'm not even going to try to guess. 2018 maybe. When Gomez it came down to Gomez and DeSanto, and Gomez throws him to his back, and if he gets the pin, they win, and DeSanto fights like a dog, able to recover and not give up the pin, although Gomez does win the match, and Iowa hangs on for the win. I don't know if it's going to be like that. I really think probably it's not the best matchup for Iowa State, but either way, it's going to be an amazing, amazing duel. You're not going to want to miss it on Saturday night. Make sure you're tuning in.